do 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 do.
Hey, it's me, Eddie Mecca. I'm your guide this week for this week's episode of It Was a Thing on TV, where we're talking about two guys, a girl, and a pizza place. Hey, now I always want to talk like I'm from Brooklyn, but here's the truth. I'm actually from Boston. Hey! And I guarantee you, in this episode, Ryan Reynolds, the pizza he's going to be producing at this pizza place, it's going to be no Sandra Pale's Pizza out Chelsea Street in Boston. Hey! You know what else is good in Boston? The pizza. Ernesto's Pizza. Yeah! Third place winner of the best pizza in Boston, even though it got ripped off the first place. Hey! Hey, I got a question. How come is it that in pizza in Canada is called Boston Pizza there, even though it's nowhere near Boston? And how come Little Caesars in Canada is called Pizza Pizza? Does someone trademark Little Caesars in Canada? Is it like a Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive situation there? Hey! But you know what? Enough about me yakking about how good pizza is. Here's Greg, Mike, and Chico talking about two guys, a girl, and a pizza place. Ew.
Guys, you know what we need right now? Some pizza. Hey, got some pizza. We're going to go to Boston and get some slices in Beacon Street. Hey.
Are you the watcher this week, Eddie?
Yeah, sure, I'm the watcher this week. We'll see what Greg puts in the beginning. Hey.
Happy belated birthday to Eddie Mecca. We're sorry we're tarnishing your legacy.
No, we're not.
You're right, we're not.
An anthology about the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Punisher! Control! Tell me before I change my mind!
I give you Super Train.
Episode 480, submission 250. Two guys, a girl, and a pizza place. Two guys, a girl, and a pizza place. Aired on ABC from March 11th of 1988 to May 16th of 2001 for 4 seasons and 81 episodes. But we're going to make an asterisk here for this episode. For this episode, we're not going to cover the two guys and a girl air. We're just going to be talking about the episodes that had pizza place in the title. Because really, that's all anyone cares about, is the pizza place.
Well, the pizza place was the focal point of the comedy. And it's where the creator, Danny Jacobson, cut his chops before, getting into the television.
I never referred to television as the television. I think you're the first person in human history that's ever referred to television as the television.
We should also mention that the pizza place era of this series ran for a total of 35 episodes. That's 3 more than twice your traditional crock block. 16 times 2 is 32, add 3 is 35. You can do the math.
When that show first aired, I thought the theme song sounded rather familiar. Turns out it's the bass lick for a song called, come on, brain,
I love that song. Come on, brain. Come on, brain.
Come on, come on, come on. Now touch me, brain.
Blister in the Sun by Violent Femmes. That's what it is.
Not only are we desecrating the memory of Eddie Mecca on this podcast, but we're desecrating the memory of Jim Morrison on this podcast.
And oddly enough, we're also desecrating the memory of Chico's memory.
What memory? That's a joke, you see. The bass lick from Blister in the Sun aside, here we have a show that does what it says on the tin. We have two guys, a girl, and their adventures in a Boston pizza place.
Sure, it sells itself.
The pizza place is actually based on a real pizza place. Greg was telling me it was based on a real pizza place that the creator worked in before the television came calling.
Yeah, it is in operation on Teal Square in Somerville and is still in operation to this day. And it's called Broadway Eatery. So if you go there, say It Was a Thing on TV sent you.
They'll look at you and say, what?
You know what their response is going to be? Right.
We always say that every show on television has a story behind it. That was the story. It was basically adventures of two guys and a girl attending college at Tufts University while running a pizza place. Some other stuff happens in season 3 and season 4, but you don't need to know any of that.
I'm just happy we mentioned Tufts University, a very fine D3 program.
So let's go over the two guys, the girl, and the pizza place. The two guys are Pete Dunville, a level-headed, straight-laced sort who is often neurotic and anxious about what may occur with his professional and romantic life, as is evidenced by the fact that he broke up with his girlfriend in the pilot, only to be dating her 3 episodes later. His best friend and roommate, Michael Bergen, is basically the Whizziker. He's the mischievous everyman, boyish looks, often creating chaos in the lives of his friends for nothing more than his sheer entertainment. He has no idea what he wants to do with his life until one day he decides, you know what? Med school sounds fine. So those are the two guys. The girl, Sharon Carter, is a complex college beauty who's good friends with both Pete and Berg, living just upstairs from them, known for self-confidence and the inability to commit to relationships.
Hold on a second, Chico. Sharon Carter? Wait a minute. Peggy Carter's niece?
I knew you were going to say that. Sadly, no.
Oh.
So those are the two guys and the girl. And the pizza place is Beacon Street Pizza, which is owned and operated by a guy named Bill and is frequented by a guy named Mr. Bauer, who likes to tell stories about his life and his experiences that sound a whole lot like movie plots. I guess he's supposed to be a combination of Norm and Tom Poston, because I watched some of the episodes and that's what it came across to me. What do you guys think?
What? Somebody's ripping me off? Yeah, Tom, somebody's ripping you off, apparently.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
What?
no!
Somebody's ripping me off? Oh, no!
Oh, no. And Tom Poston's not on Match Game Hollywood Squares this week. Oh, no.
What? I'm not on this week?
No, you're not on this week.
Oh.
Well, talking about 40 years ago this week.
Oh, that's right.
I don't want anybody listening to actually think there's new episodes of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. I don't think they're that stupid, but you never know. They're only new if you haven't seen them.
So let's talk about the two guys and a girl, and the pizza proprietor and the pizza place denizens. First of all, playing Berg is the one, the only, America's favorite Canadian Hollywood big shot, Ryan Reynolds. This is actually his first gig since last week's episode 15.
Wait a minute, Chico. This is the same guy from 15? Are you telling me, Chico, that this kid from 15 who can't play the drums real well ended up on another show?
On network television, yes.
Wow. What a recovery for this kid.
Well, it's not like he had to know how to play the drums on this show.
Oh, that is true. No one knows that he sucks at the drums.
Playing Sharon Carter, the lovely and talented Trailer Howard. I remember her as the new assistant to Mr. Monk on later seasons of Monk.
Wait a minute. What did you say?
Monk.
You know who's on Monk?
Tony Shalhoub.
That's right. You know what he was on?
He was on Wings.
That's right. And did you know?
And I'm just going to give the next 2 minutes over to you, Greg.
That's right. You know, 180 episodes ago, for the first time ever on this podcast, I said that I love Wings.
He speaks the truth.
I did. That was the first time I ever said it. And I've never said it before episode 300. I'm so happy I said it.
Tell me, Uncle Greg, did that show make his career?
It did. It did make his career.
That's pretty cool. And then you have the second guy, Richard Ruccolo, who plays Pete. He was in 90210, The X-Files, and in 3 episodes of Future Entry Joey, but was known primarily for dating Tiffany Thiessen for 3 years.
Well, that's the dream.
But we have more characters in this pizza place. We have Melissa, who is Pete's on-again, off-again love interest, played by, oh wow, noted thespian and scribe Jennifer Westfeldt. She gained notoriety writing, producing, and starring in the feel-good film of 2002, Kissing Jessica Stein.
Oh, I remember that.
Playing Bill, the owner of Beacon Street Pizza, Julius Carey, a perennial that guy from That Thing. He was in previous entry, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., he was in future entry, Dr. Doctor, and he was on episodes of Murphy Brown, Family Matters, A Different World, and Boy Meets World.
We have to schedule Dr. Doctor. We talk about that so much.
There is no maybe we're going to cover it. We are going to cover Dr. Doctor because we need to talk about Matt Frewer, not just on this show, but we need to talk about his existence as Max Headroom, the most 80s thing to come out of that decade.
I forgot to mention Julius Carey's greatest role in all of cinema, his magnum opus. He played Shonuff, the Shogun of New York City in The Last Dragon.
That's right, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Timok has the power of the glow. Who's the master, Leroy?
Hold on, before we go on, do you want to know something I found out, like, yesterday? You know how Prince had, like, all this stuff that he, like, stashed away, like, for years and years, like, in his vault?
Yeah.
One of them, and I found out about this, and this is amazing. Prince produced a documentary about Coco Beware, narrated by Morris Day.
There is nothing not interesting about that sentence.
Why did we not get this released? Prince, you should have released this. Come on. Coco Beware getting his own documentary. Everyone would want to have seen that.
Sadly, Julius Carey no longer with us, died of pancreatic cancer in 2008. And then we have, as Mr. Bauer, the guy who relays his life in the movies. No, seriously, it's his life in the movies. Legendary actor David Ogden Stiers.
Yeah, MASH. Come on.
Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast. 2 new characters would join the cast in season 2. That would be Sharon's boyfriend, eventual husband, Johnny Donnelly, played by another legend in the making, Nathan Fillion.
So you know what that means. Technically, we had 2 Green Lanterns on this show because Ryan Reynolds was the Hal Jordan Green Lantern in the 2011 Green Lantern, and Nathan Fillion is playing the Guy Gardner Green Lantern in the upcoming Superman movie with James Gunn,
which is filming in Ohio as we speak.
Now, Mike, if you do not run into Rachel Brosnan once during the filming of this movie, I'm going to be very sad.
And if you do run into Rachel Brosnan, we want pictures.
Given I'm going nowhere near downtown Cleveland for the foreseeable future, I guess I'm going to disappoint you guys.
What if she goes to like a coffee shop somewhere in the suburban areas?
Yeah, like she'd travel 15 miles from downtown Cleveland to get coffee when there's Starbucks on like every corner.
I've seen weirder things happen.
I'm just trying to smash Greg's dreams. Don't bring reality and logic into this, Chico.
You want to smash my dreams? Grimace has eaten one since he threw out the first pitch. That's right. We're finally making a Grimace Mets reference on this podcast.
I like how quickly Greg's attention went from the Rangers to the Mets. As soon as the Rangers were eliminated from the playoffs, boom. Now he pays attention to the Mets and cares about them. And I think you got to partially blame Grimace for that.
One more cast member that joined during season 2, and that is Ashley Walker, who is a classmate of Berg's, who ends up in a relationship with Pete. Ashley is played by Suzanne Cryer, who was in the Yada Yada episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, that's terrific. Was she the person who said yada yada? Bet she was.
I believe she was. Although John Cryer would play her long-distance boyfriend during season 2, Suzanne Cryer and John Cryer are not related.
No relation, so don't get that sick thing into your minds.
By the way, you can see Suzanne Cryer in Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney Plus as of this recording.
Look, if it doesn't have Alexandria Daddario in it, I don't care.
Fine.
Because she was in the movie version of that.
We are only talking about the first 35 episodes, the Pizza Place era. And because of that, expect some early installment weirdness. Like, for example, in the pilot, which we're going over right now, Pete breaks up with Melissa, and Berg takes a job testing drugs. And while he's testing those drugs, he tries to reconcile Pete and Melissa, and just makes matters worse. And eventually, they decide to work things out. Noted director of this episode, James Widows.
Okay, we don't need the formal name. Let's call him what we know him by.
Jamie Widows.
That's right. And of course, where do we know him from? One thing and one thing only. Magnificent Beard Guy won $30,000 on Jamie Widow's birthday back in 1983. Boom, second Match Game Hollywood Squares reference in the first, 20 minutes or so.
We haven't even gone over what happens this week in history 40 years ago. That's later. We're just getting all this out of the way right now. Episode 2. 2 guys, a girl, and a presentation. Sharon faces an ethical dilemma with her company's latest insecticide. By the way, we should mention, Sharon works for a giant mega conglomerate company, and she hates it. Berg is continuing to participate in drug trials, and Pete makes a presentation of his architectural project, but Berg thinks he has drunk the latest drug being trialed.
We do have a name as the director of this episode, not Jamie Widows, another name who went on to much bigger things in recent years. Mark Sandrowski, who you might know from directing The Big Bang Theory.
Episode 3. 2 guys, a girl, and a guy.
Wait, wouldn't that be 3 guys and a girl?
Berg tries to earn money by product testing some talking sneakers. Sharon gets a new boyfriend, Ted, who is a lawyer. Naturally, Berg and Pete have to check him out, and they don't approve because he seems too perfect. Playing Ted, man by the name of Sean O'Brien, best known for roles in The Princess Diaries, Olympus Has Fallen, and an episode of Kenan from 2022.
Oh, man. You know what? I guess we got to put that on the list, Kenan.
After all, we have 15 to thank for Kenan Thompson's career.
That's right.
We went over this last week, by the way.
You know who got his start as an intern on 15? Steve Holland. No, not that Steve Holland. The other Steve Holland, who's an executive producer on Young Sheldon.
He got his start on 15 doing the later seasons from Orlando.
The non-savage Steve Holland.
The one who's not responsible for me.
Oh, Whammy, it's so nice to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Whammy, do you like to go out for some pizza?
I like some pizza. I like getting a slice of pepperoni.
Because I saw you, Whammy, back in the day. You were flipping that pizza dough into the air.
Oh, I can still do that. Yeah, look, I'm tossing my invisible pizza dough right now. Who wants a pizza? We got your cheese, pepperoni, tomato. How about some spaghetti?
Now, Whammy, hold on. When you said the invisible pizza dough, is it so only John Cena can eat it?
Whatever you say, bucko. I'm tossing my pizza dough. Yeah, look at me.
Just don't toss your pizza dough in public or else you'll get 5 to 10.
Oh, now he tells me.
Episode 4. 2 guys, a girl, at a Celtic game. Pete is very eager to go to a Celtics game with Sharon and Melissa. Berg, not so keen to go. Despite this, Berg is in the lucky seat that gets him a seat on the bench, which upsets Pete. What can Berg do to make him happy again?
Now, hold on, guys. Now, this is 1998. Now, Rick Pitino's coaching the Celtics at this time. So, come on, you'd be excited. It's Rick Pitino. You're sitting next to a coaching legend on the sideline.
And think of who was on the Celtics at that point. You would have had Paul Pierce, and you would have had Antoine Walker. It wasn't a bad 1-2 scoring combination back in 1998.
Yeah, too bad they couldn't win anything under Pitino. That's what happens when you risk your coaching career in the NBA on getting Tim Duncan in the NBA draft.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish is not walking through that door. And if you expect them to walk through the door, they're going to be gray and old.
Episode 5. 2 guys, a girl, and an apartment. Mrs. Wexler moves out of the apartment block, so Sharon and the boys work out a way to vet the new occupant. However, they have very different ideas of who it should be. Melissa moves in to Pete's displeasure, which forces them to break up.
Oh, and Mrs. Wexler is somebody we've talked about numerous times in the past. Gene Spiegel Howard. We're talking about Ron Howard and Clint Howard's mama.
And Bryce Dallas Howard's grandma.
We've talked about her on a number of episodes. Where I remember her, she was an old lady on Married with Children. She was an old lady at a grocery store that lost its power, and because it lost its power, all the computers went down, and nobody could get out because the electronics, the door couldn't open, stuff like that. But also, she was a crotchety lady on a season 9 episode where Pig and Marcy Darcy go play bingo, and she's just very snippy with Marcy Darcy, and then Pig ends up winning like $10,000 playing bingo, and her character, named Seal, she congratulates Peg Bundy, but then Marcy gets in her face and gives her basically the attitude she had earlier. Telling her to be quiet. Shut up!
In 41.
Peggy, I don't think I can sit here any longer.
Shut up.
Just relax, Marcy. This is the last game. Whoever wins this one gets the big jackpot.
Oh. Shut up! G 58.
Look, Peggy, all you need is one more square.
Yeah, but I never win anything. I just play for fun.
N 33.
Bingo! Bingo!
Congratulations, Peggy! Shut up!
Wait, you said her name was Seal, right?
Don't make a kiss from a rose joke, please.
No, I was just going to say she gets a little crazy sometimes, right, Chico?
Well, she's never going to survive unless she gets a little crazy.
See, you were going to think I was going kiss from a rose. No.
Well, it would have been timely since we're talking mid to late 90s.
Episode 6. 2 guys, a girl, and a softball team. Sharon is dropped from her softball team. Aww. This inspires Berg to come up with the idea of starting their own women's team, sponsored by Beacon Street Pizza. Things do not go well when Pete's current infatuation, April, is a disaster. April is played by 2-time Emmy Award-winning actress Michelle Stafford. She of The Young and the Restless and The General Hospital. Episode 7. 2 guys, a girl, and a recovery. Pete and Berg pick up 2 women, but Pete is only interested in a long-term relationship after breaking up with Melissa. Again. Berg helps by fixing him up with a patient, but Berg hasn't yet learned how to read hospital charts properly. That's something they do teach in medical school, if I'm not mistaken. 3, maybe 4 names in this episode. The 2 girls, Lauren and Valerie. Lauren is played by somebody we've talked about numerous times on this podcast, Rena Sofer. Blind Justice, Saved by the Bell Hawaiian style coupling, you know her. Valerie is played by Marie Marshall. Billy.
Billy from what?
No, she was in Billy.
The show.
The show we covered, about 6 months, a year ago?
She was in the show Billy, and now she's starring with Billy from 15.
Playing Hank, Jason Clarke, who you would best know for his work in features like Zero Dark 30, Terminator Genesis. He played John Connor in that.
Oh, that terrible movie. Almost derailed Matt Smith's career until House of the Dragon.
And he played Malcolm in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Wait, I gotta add one more, especially since this is very timely. He was in the HBO series Winning Time. He played Jerry West. And I'm sure you heard about 2 weeks ago when this episode gets released, Jerry West passed away.
That series was so bad it killed him. Thanks a lot, Adam McKay, as if you weren't enough of a jackass as you already are.
I don't know if the series was so bad, but how he treated Jerry West, how the Jerry West character was played in Winning Time, it's just like a total asshole.
I'm the logo, damn it!
Maybe you could be an asshole because you're the logo. I don't know.
One more name. Playing Claudia, Beverly Leach. The name isn't sound familiar, but what if I said she was Kate Monday on MathNet?
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, she was definitely Kate Monday, yes.
People of a certain age totally remember that.
Now, if we can get it streaming somewhere, we've got Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood channel on Pluto TV. There's a PBS Retro channel that shows Reading Rainbow and some other TV shows, but one of them is not Square One. Someone's got to show Square One. And let's also do Electric Company while we're at it. Let's get all the 80s and 70s retro goodness going on.
3, 2, 1 Contact in the house.
Oh, that's a good one, too. And you could even add something like Zoom back in the day.
Yeah, I was going to say Zoom.
Speaking of Boston.
That's true. That famous zip code.
Episode 8. 2 guys, a girl, and a party. Berg organizes a birthday party for Pete 7 months early so he can impress Bethany. He also tries to act cool, but it doesn't work as he finds it difficult to express his true feelings for her.
Now, Chico, let's not forget the last time we did a show where Ryan Reynolds was at a party.
Ryan Reynolds and his on-screen sister threw a party, and this basketball player, Matt Walker, shows up with a sixer of the cheapest beer he can find.
Now, he showed up with a 6-pack of beer, but Mike, I want you to know, since you weren't here last week, Matt Walker, he does not have a drinking problem.
Okay? I think we've determined that.
Yes.
I'm sick and tired of getting hassled. Playing Bethany, an actress and producer, Amy Van Horn, who was in Beach Boys and American Family in 2000. And all 123 episodes of The City, which was basically ABC's follow-up to Port Charles. That didn't end well. But the bigger name, playing a guy by the name of Fitzy, Bill Burr.
Of course, if you're doing a show about Boston, you have to have the most Boston-ish person on this show. And
but they couldn't get Dennis Leary.
You couldn't get Dennis Leary in 2000, so you had to get like his cheaper equivalent, and that was Bill Burr.
And this is actually his second show, according to IMDb. The first 15 episodes of Townies, which I'm sure is a future entry.
With Molly Ringwald.
And Jenna Elfman.
Yeah, I was saying, among other people, not just Molly Ringwald, yeah. And it reruns on Laugh More, the secondary channel of Laugh, where all the crap they don't show on the main channel is dumped to. They show it for like 3 hours every Saturday, which is kind of weird given it was only like a 16-episode show. Oh my gosh, like a 16-episode show. That's a crock block! Oh no, I'm sorry. Looking at IMDb, 15 episodes, so one away. But it still does run very frequently on the Laugh More channel.
Episode 9. 2 guys, a girl, and a chance encounter. Molly puts a personal ad in the paper wanting to meet Pete. He doesn't want to reply, so Berg replies on his behalf. The meeting with Molly goes very well, so Sharon decides to do the same thing. Molly turns out to be the very jealous type. Actually, Molly is borderline psycho. One of the things she does in this episode is an etching of herself and Pete while Pete is sleeping. Playing Molly in this episode, Julian Renee. This would be her first role after leaving Roundhouse. You remember Roundhouse, right?
Yes, of course. Who can ever forget Roundhouse?
Yeah, that movie with Patrick Swayze.
That's Roadhouse, silly.
I'm sorry, I can just see Peter Griffin doing that. Roundhouse. I know what Roundhouse is. I just want to see if you guys are paying attention.
Now I want to see like a scene where David Sapodi tells Terry Funk that there's always Buffer College.
Episode 10. 2 guys, a girl, and a pizza delivery. Berg delivers a pizza to Isabella, a delivery normally made by Pete. He finds out that she uses her naked body to paint and so wants to date her in competition with Pete. Sharon tries to attract a jogger that runs past the apartments.
Wouldn't it be cool if Eddie Mecca was delivering the pizza and he went to this Isabella person and said, "Hey, I got your pizza right here. Oh my gosh, you're naked and painting. I got a little pepperoni and sausage too. Hey!" Especially when you know who Isabella is in this episode.
Playing Isabella, Carmen Electra. Episode 11, Two Guys, a Girl, and How They Met. Pete and Berg reminisce with Bill and Mr. Bauer about how they first met Sharon. She was collecting signatures for a Greenpeace petition in a bar. Playing a newscaster in this episode, guy we lost not too long ago, legendary newscaster in Los Angeles. You did not watch news regularly and not hear the words, and Sam Rubin, live from Hollywood. It was Sam Rubin. He played a newscaster.
Yeah, we figured.
Episode 12, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Dad. Berg's father, who is a lawyer, comes to town, but Berg hasn't told him that he has dropped out of law school. His father also has a secret. Sharon has an unfortunate job at a fair advertising her chemical company, complete with protesters. Berg's dad has quit his law firm to become a caricaturist in the park.
Well, that's not a bad job.
Playing Mr. Bergen, Berg's father, Howard Hessman.
So wait, Howard Hessman is playing Ryan Reynolds' dad.
I can see the familiar resemblance.
Also directing this episode, another name. We had Mark Sandrowski earlier. We had Jamie Widows earlier. We've got Rich Carell now. Oh, and by the way, third Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour reference before even getting into the update, Rich Carell was on the panel for Leave It to Beaver Week. I'm just making up for lost time with all these Match Game Hollywood Squares references. 3 in the first, half of these shows. Not even half, because there's 35 episodes. We're only at 12. This is barely like the 1/3 mark. Boy, at this rate, we're going to have 9 Match Game Hollywood Squares episode references when it's all said and done. I'm giddy.
You sound giddy. Episode 13. This is the season finale. Two Guys, a Girl, and a Landlord. Pete installs a satellite dish on the building and his landlord removes it. Pete fights back, but all he succeeds in doing is getting the heating in the building turned off, which kills Berg's pet fish. The battle is on, and it escalates. I believe this is the name of the landlord, Edgar J. Hagerty, played by Harvey Presnell, known for his roles in Fargo, Paint Your Wagon, Saving Private Ryan, and the unsinkable Molly Brown, sadly no longer with us. And that is season 1, which aired out of the Drew Carey show to much success, especially when you consider that it went up against future entries Michael Hayes, Significant Others, and The Sentinel, and also an NBC Movie of the Week. Airing out of Drew Carey didn't hurt either. On regular schedules, it would also run counter another future entry, Working, which is basically what would happen if you took the Dilbert comics and made them into a live-action TV series.
And if you got Fred Savage.
And they'd actually be funny.
Out of the Drew Carey show, it just fit like a glove. That whole Wednesday night block of comedy belonged to ABC, it would seem. You had Spin City, Dharma and Greg, the Drew Carey show, and then Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. Really solid stuff there. ABC decides we may very well have our newest hit on our hands. What are they going to do with it? Fast forward to the fall, and they move it up an hour. But more on that, and more on the show, right after Two Guys, a Girl, and these era-appropriate messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
In a perfect world, golf balls would taste more like gumballs. In the real world, Diet Dr. Pepper does taste more like regular Dr. Pepper. It's the taste you've been looking for.
Kids who have mentors do better in school. They're less likely to fight or use drugs or drink. Mentors matter. Children first.
Impersonating the new headmistress is easy.
Where no man has gone before.
Fooling the girls
She could have a killer health plan.
is no walk in the park.
Serious trouble here.
Katie Seagal and Harlan Williams.
This place makes the joint look like the Ritz.
Mr. Headmistress. ABC next Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Hey, everybody's falling for ABC Tuesday's newest TV family.
Oh, really?
See for yourself. Hey, with a name like Something So Right, how could it miss? Right after a special home improvement starting at 8, 7 Central, ABC Tuesday.
What can I get for this? It's a Whopper.
With a bite out of it.
My usual. But then I just heard about that.
McDonald's Big Extra.
It's a whole new taste for McDonald's. Fresh lettuce and tomatoes.
And 20% more beef than a Whopper. And at $2.99 with large fries and a medium soft drink, it's a better value.
So what'd he say?
Are you kidding me? I can't even get rid of these.
The new McDonald's Big Extra. Did somebody say McDonald's?
This guy has a very simple job. See the puck? Stop the puck. See the puck? Stop the puck. Puck, bad, glove, good. Simple. Just like
AT&T One Rate International. One low rate per country on calls from home anytime.
Exactly.
What about that 10-3-2-1 thing?
With One Rate International, most calls cost less. So what they're basically saying... Playing hockey, talking at the same time?
Bad. The AT&T One Rate International plan.
Welcome back. Now, guys, I gotta be honest with you. During the commercial break, I went to let'senhance.io and had this great idea.
That's got me worried.
What if one of the most famous residents of West Newbury, Massachusetts, John Cena, ate a pizza? So I told it to write a prompt, make a realistic photo of John Cena eating a pizza. So here's what it gave me. Do you want to describe this photo?
He's eating a pizza, but he's eating it backwards.
He's obviously eating Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza, John Cena.
But he's also eating 2 slices at a time. That doesn't make any sense.
And also, look, there's 2 whole pizzas. But also,
I'm looking at the second picture, though.
This is the second picture. Why is the slice of pizza being held up?
By his clenched fist?
Maybe.
And apparently, looking at his arms there, he's taking whatever Barry Bonds was using. Good heavens. Those are unnatural.
Oh my god, he's merged his 2 arms into a singularity, it looks like.
Oh, this one, yeah. But the last one's very realistic. It's just John Cena just like, hey.
Except half of his shoulder's been chopped off, it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Look at the hands. Look at the hands.
I'm looking at the hands. Both of his hands have merged into a singularity, which explains the whole half of his shoulder being chopped off.
He's got, and I hate saying this because I'm going to go to hell for this, he's got 2 Jim Abbott nubs for arms. But also, that last picture looks like somebody ran over his puppy dog or something. He looked very sad.
Look, guys, nothing is going to top the greatest picture that let'senhance.io has ever given us. This portrait of Alan Thicke as Count Duckula next to Count Duckula.
That needs to be framed somewhere. Just saying.
That needs to be in the Hall of Fame. That needs to, like, greet people as they come in. That needs to be like what McLean Stevenson is holding in his hands. He's holding this portrait of Alan Thicke with Count Duckula in the background, sort of doing their take of an 80s class picture or something like that. Were we actually talking about a TV show?
Allegedly, we were. So, last spring, we had a hit show, Wednesday nights at 9:30. They moved it to Wednesday nights at 8:30 because ABC apparently had another hit show on their hands. Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, yeah, that would have been like a summer 98 entry.
And it fits outside of the Drew Carey show. So that necessitated a move. So Two Guys, a Girl at a Pizza Place now comes on after Dharma and Greg, which wasn't a bad move in and of itself, but now it's gone up against Beverly Hills 90210, The Sentinel, and Dawson's Creek, and Dateline. More on the schedule in a moment, but let's go over season 2 real quick. Episode 1, Two Guys, a Girl, and Someone Better. Berg is coming second in his medical studies and goes all out to disrupt the top student, who turns out to be our new entry, Ashley, Suzanne Cryer. Pete is second in his architectural studies and is happy, and Sharon tries to pick up a barman at a local bar.
Directing this episode, yet another new director, or a different director. We've mentioned Jamie Widows, we mentioned Mark Sandrowski, we mentioned Rich Carell. How about we add another name to the list? Michael Lembeck. And yes, he was on 2 weeks of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour, so that's 4 references thus far.
This guy with the Match Game, we haven't even talked about what happened 40 years ago.
Oh, please. I'm hoping like Charles Nelson Riley pops up as the director next. This is going to be just the most glorious episode ever.
You notice that Julius Carey, Jennifer Westfeldt, and David Ogden Stiers are no longer in the cast, because this is where we begin the sort of creep away from the pizza place. It's almost like the pizza place is just the figurehead at this point.
But it's still in the title, Chico.
But we're not seeing much of the pepperoni action, as it were.
No, because they want to show that sweet Nathan Fillion action.
Episode 2, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Vacation. Sharon finally tries to quit her job, but her boss offers her the use of the company facilities in Aruba over the weekend to reconsider her position. She doesn't want to go, but Berg in particular wants to go and convinces them all to go. They're just about to leave when Pete gets a phone call about an immediate job interview with Farber that throws the plans into disarray. Farber just keeps the job interview going for a long time. Berg interferes in order to terminate the interview, and then Sharon has an urgent work commitment, which Berg and Pete ensures finishes quickly. Finally, Pete gets a hospital call that finishes the weekend. However, there turns out to be a happy ending. Frank Farber, the person with the job interview, is played by Fred Willard.
I hope they don't see what else Fred Willard likes to do.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
No, Greg, bad.
Should have been here last week, Mike. Greg was comparing Brooks' run for student council president to something really, really bad.
Yeah, I compared it to a Nuremberg rally.
Jeez. Greg, what the heck are you doing?
Mike, watch that. Don't tell me you're not thinking the same thing.
I don't know what to think right now between that and talking about Fred Willard and what he did in his spare time in his later years. Ugh.
Look, someone should have gotten Fred Willard a laptop computer. And, all this would have been solved.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, Ernest Borgnine, fill us in.
I masturbate a lot.
Just go to the next episode.
Episode 3, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Tattoo. Pete has a mysterious new girlfriend, Nicole, which turns out to have had a one-night stand with Berg 3 years ago and has his name tattooed on her. She doesn't want to remove it, but eventually Pete turns out to be happy with it. Playing Nicole, she of the tattoo of Berg's name somewhere on her. Lovely lady by the name of Sydney Bennett, who is known for Whip It, Matlock, and Psych. She was also on 2 episodes of Boy Meets World, none of them involving the Philly Mafia, Greg.
Oh.
Sorry.
but she was on site, which means...
Cuatro quesos, dos fritos?
Yeah, sure.
Episode 4. 2 guys, a girl, and a homecoming. Sharon has a reunion with some catty old school friends, but she can finally claim to have a boyfriend, Johnny. He repairs jukeboxes, but Sharon exaggerates his job, which upsets him. It turns out he's put down Sharon's job as well, but it has a happy ending. A couple of Pete and Berg's old friends have prime tickets to a football game, which leads to one-upmanship by Pete claiming he has tickets to one of the luxury boxes. So to get to the game on time, Pete and Berg have to clear out the Beacon Street pizza and then buy the tickets from a scalper. They turn out to be fake, shocker, and are arrested. They manage to escape as they try to keep ahead of their friends. Playing a customer, that's his character, customer, he would have been 4 years removed from being second banana to Ryan Seacrest, Brian Dunkelman.
Oh my god.
I didn't think we mentioned Brian Dunkelman this soon on the podcast.
Well, we're definitely going to mention him in the future because he voiced at least one character on another show I really, really, really want to cover that I really enjoyed back in the day, 3 South. MTV cartoon about college life. Back 2002-ish, I believe, right around the time that Dunkelman would have been on American Idol.
I remember that show. I do.
Oh, I loved it.
Sharon's friend Heather is played by Robin Nance, who was the host for like 1 or 2 seasons of Dollar General, but still quite entertaining Who's Line, Quick Wits.
Oh man, I forgot about Quick Wits. It aired here in New York at like 2:30 in the morning after Match Game 98.
It aired here on the weekends. Late night. First place I saw Wayne Brady.
Same. It aired like 4:30 in the morning on Friday nights / Saturday mornings here. Definitely Insomniac TV.
Episode 5. 2 guys, a girl, and an elective. Pete takes up sports broadcasting as an elective and decides that he no longer wants to be an architect. However, a sexist comment at a women's basketball match finishes his new career, while Sharon unsuccessfully tries to change Johnny.
Oh no, we're having a Caitlin Clark situation 26 years early.
Pete goes in for a job interview that leaves him doubting his commitment about whether he wants to be an architect. Playing Mr. Walker, guy by the name of Kenneth Kimmins. You remember him from Coach.
Yeah, he was Howard Burley on Coach.
And Brian Dunkelman is back, this time as Pizza Place Chess Fan. Episode 6. 2 guys, a girl, and a psycho Halloween. Pete and Berg throw a Halloween party. Sharon is dressed as a mermaid, but Johnny goes as a cowboy instead of an angler, and she is not happy. Berg goes as a mad doctor, and strange things starts happening. They run out of beer, and Pete goes to the pizza place for some more beer, only to find Berg tied up. The question then is, who's at the party impersonating Berg? Psycho Berg kills Ashley and Johnny with his axe. Sharon flees to the pizza place for safety, followed by the Psycho Berg. And in a mix-up, Pete kills the real Berg. And at the end, we find out who the Psycho Berg really is and why he's killing everybody. This has to be one of the trippiest episodes I think I've ever covered.
You think that's all crazy and psycho? Listen to this. The Drew Carey Show and 2 Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place are apparently in the same universe because in this episode, you've got Mimi Bobek from The Drew Carey Show, played by Kathy Kinney. Now I want to know, are both these shows in the Tommy Westphal universe? I don't remember if Drew Carey Show's on it. Probably not.
Episode 7. 2 guys, a girl, and an internship. Pete is having trouble getting a job as he keeps mucking up the interviews. Berg asks Ashley to ask her father to give Pete a job, And on the first day, he has sex with Brittany, who turns out to be Ashley's sister and the boss's daughter. Uh-oh!
Uh-oh.
Meanwhile, Berg is concerned how this will affect his chases with Ashley and wants Pete to break it off and asks Sharon how to do this. Brittany and Pete are caught in flagranti by her father, which ends up with him suffering a heart attack and ending up in the hospital. Kenneth Kimmins returns as Mr. Walker, and playing his daughter Brittany, Brigida Dow, who is known as the first voice of female type Ranma on Ranma 1/2, if you remember that far back. But she was also in a couple of Meat Space TV shows like The Hat Squad, future entry there, Boy Meets World, not that episode, Greg, and another future entry, hopefully, Nightman.
Which, if we do that, you know what that means.
We have to do the Manimal episode?
That's right.
Nice.
Mike, are you excited about that?
No, what I'm excited about is that, yes, the Drew Carey Show and Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place are in the Tommy Westfall universe. Apparently, I'm the only person who shares that excitement.
Episode 8, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Wedding. A friend of Pete, Berg, and Sharon is getting married, and they're all invited. The bride-to-be is a former girlfriend of Pete. Sharon is to be a bridesmaid and takes Johnny and Ashley along with Berg. Because it is a wedding, somebody has to get drunk and make a fool of himself. Guess who that is?
Is it Matt from 15?
No.
Well, I was going to say, we only have 3 choices.
See, Matt was perpetually drunk on 15, but I've never seen him make a fool of himself.
Nickelodeon and YTV did not want the kids to see the true effects of alcohol in the early 90s. It was like, look, we got to keep this clean for the kids.
ABC had no problem getting Pete to make a Ross out of himself, though. Episode 9, Two Guys, a Girl, and Oxford. Johnny is driving a limo to make some extra money. He helps Pete get a job as well, and Pete uses his charm on the rich, lonely women for extra tips. After telling Berg the news that she has a boyfriend, Ashley has been avoiding him. When they finally meet, they have a passionate kiss. And later, when he goes around to her place to find out she's gone to meet her boyfriend in Oxford, Berg flies to England to follow her, failing to realize there's more than one Oxford. I want to bring up an interesting point here. While publicizing Van Wilder around this time, Ryan Reynolds goes looking all around Boston for Beacon Street Pizza. You know what he figures out? There is no Beacon Street Pizza in Boston.
So they worked Ryan Reynolds himself into thinking it was a real place. Ryan Reynolds worked himself into a shoot.
Couple names in this episode. Playing Lucy, Jane Carr from Dear John. The horny little British lady from Dear John.
That's right, and we talked about her in The Return of the Shaggy Dog.
And playing Jessica, Susie Nakamura from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Modern Family, and Dead to Me. And Avenue 5. Episode 10, Two Guys, a Girl, and Thanksgiving. Sharon and Johnny decide to start a new Thanksgiving tradition where they are alone. The dinner gets bigger when Berg invites Ashley and her boyfriend, and Pete and his grandfather invite themselves. Hilarity ensues. Ashley's boyfriend, Justin, we talked about him before, played by John Cryer, and Grandpa Charlie, played by the legendary Dick Martin.
Dick Martin, of course, host of previous century Mind Readers, which gave us, Mike, the legendary bit in the history of this podcast. Chico, just say it.
Bend! Bend!
It's still a stupid trick.
What?
I thought, I thought Greg said don't invoke Uri Geller's name ever again last episode. Yeah, I heard that part of the episode. But also, I actually thought Greg was going to say about Dick Martin, host of former entry, not Mind Readers, but The Cheap Show.
I believe this would be around the time where Dick Martin was sort of having a career renaissance playing an old crazy person. Because you remember he was also on that episode of Blossom where Blossom's classmate brings a heater to school and threatens Blossom with it. Allegedly.
Yeah, we could do that pre-Columbine. Can't do that nowadays.
Episode 11. 2 guys, a girl, and a limo. After a 2-week absence, Ashley turns up at the pizza place wanting to be friends with Berg. That's nice. Pete chauffeurs a TV host who advises people who have personal problems. Pete asks him how he should advise Berg to deal with Ashley. Berg decides to break up with her, but she doesn't want to. Johnny goes fishing with a friend called Sean, but Sharon hasn't met Sean. And she's in for a surprise when she finds out that Sean is a woman. And she has trouble dealing with it. And they all end up in a limo together with Pete driving, and they all receive some advice. Playing Sean, Bobby Phillips, best known for 15 episodes of Murder One. And playing the TV host, Adam Carolla. Episode 12, 2 guys, a girl, and a Christmas story. It's getting close to Christmas, and Berg has to work at the hospital, which he's not at all happy about. Sharon is put in charge of organizing the company Christmas party, but things are not going well. She's concerned that her Christmas bonus is disappearing fast, and a busy radio traffic reporter comes into the pizza place, and Pete is seriously interested in her. He's offered the job of being her personal shopper, and she's a few years older than him, and it comes as a shock when he finds out she has a 10-year-old son. During the first time he supervises them, her son is injured in a minor accident with a cow. Mr. Harrison, which is one of Sharon's bosses, played by Bill Macy from, I believe it's Maude he was on.
Maude's husband, Walter Findley.
And playing the mother with the 10-year-old son, Caitlin Rush, Marguerite McIntyre was on all 43 episodes of Kyle XY and all 50 episodes of The Vampire Diaries. Episode 13. 2 guys, a girl, and a gamble. Sharon finally asks Johnny to move in with her, but there are pressures as they get to know each other. While Pete looks for a friend's son and coaches him with his math, Berg gets his chance to teach him a better way by taking him to the dog track. We do have Marguerite McIntyre returning as Caitlin Rush, and her son, Michael Rush, played by Michael Welch, who is in Star Trek Insurrection as Artem, and at least 2 of the Twilight movies as Mike Newton, and 1 episode of Quantum Leap from 2022, the pilot episode, July 13th, 1985.
He was also on Joan of Arcadia playing Luke Girardi, 45 episodes. That was a good show. I liked Joan of Arcadia.
Episode 14, 2 guys, a girl, and a proposal. Pete and Caitlin are starting to get serious until her former husband turns up for a visit. Pete goes overboard and proposes to Caitlin. She declines, after which they decide to cool the relationship. Meanwhile, Sharon finds an old embarrassing photo of Berg, and he's determined to find a similar photo of Sharon. However, she's destroyed all the copies. And Berg finds an old boyfriend that has the necessary photo, but Sharon gets to him first, and Berg is temporarily thwarted. Playing the husband, Tom Rush, Mark S. Porro. His most notable role is as a security guard on Babylon 5. But because he used to be married to Caitlin Rush, we have to mention him. Episode 15. 2 guys, a girl, and graduation. Sharon is upset when her father fails to recognize her achievements. She applies for a new job, but it appears that she didn't actually graduate from college as she had unpaid parking tickets that stopped her graduating. Unfortunately, the course requirements have changed and she must now do an additional English subject. Sharon had given the money to Pete and Berg to pay the parking tickets, but they didn't pay them. What did they do with the money? Playing Sharon's father, Joel Higgins. We talked about him in Best of the West. And of course, there's Silver Spoons.
And don't tell me you forgot.
Best of the West.
Uh-huh.
Silver Spoons.
Uh-huh. Salvage 1.
No, I am a dummy. Okay. Yes, Salvage 1.
But you know what this means? He's eligible for the Hall of Fame now.
Oh, I think if he wasn't even on the show, he's definitely Hall worthy. Hey, would you believe we have another name as a director on this series?
I'm shocked.
I promise this one was not on an episode of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. For a change. Amanda Bears, talking about Marcy Darcy earlier from Married with Children.
Episode 16, 2 Guys, a Girl, and Valentine's Day. Irene misunderstands Pete's intentions and thinks he's flirting with her. As he tries to set her straight, he only succeeds in making it worse. She's very smitten, but deeply upsets her. Sharon is still having issues with Sean and thinks Berg would be a good partner for her. Sean keeps trying to make Johnny jealous by kissing Berg in his presence, but it doesn't work. And it all comes to a head when she publicly states her love. Johnny is confused and Sharon gives him an ultimatum. So Jillian Bach plays the recurring character of Irene. She was on a few episodes before this one, and now she's back. She played Sarah Harrigan in 6 episodes of The Mentalist, and Penny Nicholson in 5 episodes of ER. And she was in 1 episode of iZombie. And I only mention that because any excuse to mention Rose McIver, I'm going to take. Playing Sean's mother, Conchata Farrell from 2.5 Men, The Hot L Baltimore.
What else?
You're all going to make me do this again, aren't you?
Say it. What else was she on?
It's not coming to me, man.
A certain show in California that practices law.
Oh, yeah. She was on LA Law.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God!
We're never going to get tired of her going down the elevator shaft.
Not another Pulaski episode. While Chico tries to compose himself, there is one more name. Playing a flower seller in this episode is Mina Kolb. I mention her because she played Jeff Garland's mother on the early years of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Because we love Jeff Garland so much around here, especially when they basically did like CGI for the last season of The Goldbergs. I'm sorry, very bad CGI, not just CGI, really crappy CGI.
But I gotta say, his performance in the final episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, when he's making the call to get that recipe, is like the funniest shit ever.
Oh, that salad recipe is absolutely hilarious. And then when he mentions it in the courtroom, and the restaurant owner, the person who was trying to help out Larry David for the voting fraud and all that, when she was bribed, even though she really wasn't bribed, she was just given a bottle of water. She gets called up to the stand, and Jeff Garland's talking about the salad, and she shoots him this evil glance. Oh, that was actually a great finale. I gotta rewatch that.
Episode 17, 2 Guys, a Girl, and the Storm of the Century. During a big storm, Berg becomes interested in a weather girl on a Spanish TV station. He goes to the pier to meet her, where they hit it off despite the conditions. Things are going well when Ashley turns up wanting to reunite with him.
Now, wait a second, Greg. This sounds exactly like that episode of It's Always Sunny, where Mac and Charlie and Dennis, I think it's more Dennis than anybody else, given his libido, during their storm of the century, they're watching Spanish language TV and they see the weather girl. Well, that was at the end of the episode, but I still see a lot of parallels because they were watching regular English language TV and they saw the weather girl with big storm fronts, if you will. Yeah. And so they went to the store to get supplies, and that's where she happened to be doing a remote. I'm not saying It's Always Sunny stole this from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, but you can make your own decision on that.
Playing Benita, the weather lady, the very lovely Constance Marie from George Lopez.
Oh, wait a minute, guys. Hold up. I need to interrupt something right now. Because as I speak, the Ultimate Classic Wrestling channel on Plex is right now going to air the clip where Herb Abrams gets beaten and bloodied up. He's going to get beaten the shit out of by Colonel Red and Ivan Koloff. It's going to be great. Okay, continue.
Episode 18. Two Guys, a Girl, and Ashley's Return. Ashley wants to reunite with Berg, but he wants to continue with Benita. Benita makes the final decision by dropping Berg. Johnny's having a hard time convincing Sharon to get back together until Pete intervenes. Painfully. Playing the role of Robbie, Trevor Einhorn from Mad Men, Dirty Dancing, the 2017 remake, not the 1988 remake, and Sci-Fi's The Magician. Episode 19. Two Guys, a Girl, and a Fighter. Berg is back with Ashley and he gives her a key to the boys' apartment. Pete, Ashley, and Sharon all end up upset with each other and Johnny tries to sort it all out. He ends up with everybody against him, and with some assistance from Berg, they sort out their problems, while Berg is helping a friend who has a big fight coming up. It also turns out he has some brain damage and Berg unsuccessfully tries to stop the fight. Playing the fighter, Buster Garrett, David Giannopoulos. We talked about him in previous entry, Cop Rock. He played Officer Andy Campo. Making a cameo appearance as himself, Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Ohio native, right, Mike?
I believe he's from Youngstown, yes.
Episode 20, Two Guys, a Girl, and Mother's Day. Sharon helps look after Johnny's nephews, which puts her off having her own children. Ashley's given an intern job, but Berg's jealousy gets her sacked, and Berg is calm in a crisis and delivers Johnny's niece. Playing Dr. Storetsky, a colleague of Berg's, Anthony Stewart Head. Known more for his work on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and less for his work on Manchild. Episode 21. Two Guys, a Girl, and Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies? There's going to be Bare Naked Ladies on this show?
There's going to be Bare Naked Ladies on this show. Bare Naked Ladies narrate throughout this episode in song, while Berg tries to get out of going with Ashley to get her nails done and convinces Sharon to go instead. Despite Sharon's reluctance, the outing with Ashley goes well, and Sharon reveals some of Berg's secrets. Pete goes to a career counselor looking for a job. He is then offered the job of a therapist. However, his first and last therapy session doesn't go well, and he goes back and ends up as the careers counselor, which means he quits the pizza place.
What? No!
It's like Sharon is working for this large company. Berg is at medical school. Pete was the only connection to the pizza place left. We have a couple names in this episode. Playing Kevin, Scott Adsit, comedian out of 30 Rock. Playing Kim is Beth Cahill from the Saturday Night Live. And playing themselves, Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh, the band Bare Naked Ladies. I thought you were referring to something else.
By this time, still includes as lead singer former Bumper Stumpers contestant Stephen Page.
You didn't think we'd book a Bumper Stumpers reference in this episode, but we did. You think Ryan Reynolds watched Bumper Stumpers, Chico?
I'm almost confident he did. Although, if you ask me, I think he was more of a Jackpot guy. Because if I'm not mistaken, Jackpot taped in Vancouver. No, Jackpot did not tape in Vancouver.
Talk about taped in Vancouver.
Talk about taped in Vancouver.
Wait, no, wait. You know what also taped in Vancouver? The New Liars Club. I think he was watching that.
Yeah, he did. He was looking forward to Jimmy Walker every week.
And Greg still wants to know how the heck and why a Rolls Royce is driving downtown Vancouver.
He was probably watching the New Liars Club when he got the call that he was going to be Billy on 15. And then we have the last episode to involve the pizza place. 2 guys, a girl, and an engagement. Part 1. Sharon thinks that Johnny is cheating on her because some of his suspicious behavior. He tells the boys that he's taken on an extra job to earn enough money so that he can propose to her. Sharon's jealousy makes it difficult for Johnny to get away so he can get the ring, while Berg is stunned when Ashley reveals that she had been married before. Pete reveals to Berg that he's in love with Sharon. Whoa. And Berg convinces him to tell Sharon his true feelings. However, it's too late, as Johnny has already proposed. However, she did not accept.
And that's it for the pizza place.
Actually, that was it for the pizza place last episode.
Yeah, but this is official. There's no more pizza place in the title.
That was the clean break. This is basically preparing all of America for life outside of the pizza place.
And I'm going to be honest, guys. I did not care after the pizza place was gone. It's like, welcome freshman season 3. It's like, nope, I'm out.
It also should be added that even though this episode is called 2 Guys, a Girl, and an Engagement Part 1, there was never a Part 2. Maybe because of the whole lack of a pizza place type of thing. But also, taking a look at season 3, the pizza place is still mentioned up until episode 2 in season 3. That episode is titled Au Revoir Pizza Place.
As if to give one giant FU to everybody hoping for more from the pizza place. I'm looking at the ratings for the first 2 seasons, and for the first season, it did as well as could be expected for a show that was on right after Drew Carey. In fact, it premiered to 17.9 million viewers, and then it just sort of trailed off. But then it went back up when it moved to 8:30 in between Dharma and Greg and the Drew Carey show. It cemented its legendary hit status there. After the pizza place went farewell, I just don't think it was the same. Do you? It's like, we realize that although the pizza place is important, it is not the be-all, end-all. We want these characters to have lives. Although, the more you watch, it seems like, are these just the most terrible people ever, or am I just nuts?
No, it's not just you.
If you do want to relive the era of 2 Guys, a Girl, at a Pizza Place, the entire series was released on DVD. Is it streaming anywhere? Do you know?
It's definitely on Maximum Effort.
Yes. Because Ryan Reynolds is always going to show all his old stuff on Maximum Effort.
I think he stopped showing 15, though. I haven't seen that in a while.
I think it's like early, like morning.
No, I've been checking. I haven't seen it early in the morning.
Well, they got to put more Mad TV on Maximum Effort.
Which Ryan Reynolds obviously had a giant role in, apparently.
Well, he must love Mad TV a lot, because obviously Will Sasso's a fellow Canadian.
You know what's on the Maximum Effort channel right now? The Carol Burnett Show.
Oh, that's right. Oh, man. I bet everyone's breaking during a sketch that's airing right now.
And also, let's not forget, Maximum Effort also airs Flip a Coin.
And that one show with Bruce Campbell discontinued.
So what do we have to say about 2 Guys, a Girl, at a Pizza Place? Well,
it had 2 guys.
It did. It had a girl.
It had a girl, huh?
And it had a pizza place.
It didn't have Eddie Mecca, though, sadly.
No. But you know what? It was, to us, a glorious thing on TV. Well, Mike, we're 1 month away from the end. But let's do it.
We've only mentioned it, like 4 or 5 times in this episode? Let's get the official mention out of the way.
It's time for This Weekend Match Game. Hollywood Squares. Our History.
As Greg mentioned, we're a month away. This is the 5th to last week of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. And on the panel this week, we have Jamie Farr, who, on the Monday after you get this episode, July 1st, it's going to be his 90th birthday. And actually, the Toledo Mud Hens, the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers, they're actually doing a Jamie Farr Day that day, and I plan on being there. And they're giving away a Jamie Farr bobblehead. I think that's like super cool. But beyond that, we also have Heidi Bohey. I don't know if this is her first appearance on this show, but we know Heidi Bohey. She did a lot of stuff in the 80s, number of games. She was on Hotel. And we have Linda Dano returning, McLean Stevenson, Arsenio Hall, Paula Kelly from Night Court, and we have 2 people who are new to the show. We have Chuck Woolery, who is going to have a little show called Scrabble premiering in a couple of weeks. But also we have absolute legend of television, Arlene Francis. So we really have a good variety of people this week. In terms of big wins, we had 2 this week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Both of them were for $20,000. And coincidentally, both of them were with Arsenio Hall. So that's going to take us to the final month next week. We're going to talk about week 36, and we have many familiar names. I think we've got one new name on the panel next week. Let's send it back to Chico to close up everything.
Well, before we close up shop here at the pizza place, we just want to remind you can always go to our website at itwasathingontv.com. You can listen to all of our previous episodes, all sorts of great bonuses, mini-sodes, live shows, extended versions, instant reactions, delayed reactions, everything. And don't forget to follow us on all social media at It Was a Thing on TV, except for Facebook, where we are at It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and at Mastodon, where we are at It Was a Thing on TV at tvwatch.party. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever fine podcasts can be streamed. Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeart, our indie streamers. We love our indie streamers. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any of our content, including what we have next as we celebrate our nation's birthday.
That's right. So next week, because we're going to take a break from this Deadpool and Wolverine theme we got for the 4th of July. Now, guys, we love parades on this podcast, but what if I told you we had a parade celebrating America, but also we got Brent Musburger?
What?
Yes. Mike, are you excited? We're going to have a parade celebrating America and Brent.
That's different.
Yeah. But you'll find out more about that in our next installment of It Was a Thing on TV. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you with that episode next week. Row!
What if we move Law and Order to Friday?
No, that would leave us with less than 13 hours of Stone Phillips a week.
Yeah, we can't do that. That'd be like crapping in our own backyard.
Well, I think I have the answer to our little 8:30 problem. As you all know, ABC has changed 2 guys, a girl, and a pizza place to 2 guys and a girl. Well, I just got off the phone with Doug Drazen in Business Affairs, and we've made a deal. We're bringing And a Pizza Place to ding, 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 NBC.
I'm not with you.
Well, Janice, you know the show called 2 Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place?
Yeah?
Can you name the girl?
Um...
What about just one of the 2 guys? But can you tell me where they generally eat at?
At a pizza place?
Thank you.
So you're saying...
I'm saying I just gave And a Pizza Place a 13-episode on-air commitment.
But who's in it?
Whoever likes pizza. You want a slice?
Sure.
You're in the show.
So, a typical show would be...
There'll be some ovens. There'll be some tables. Maybe some garlic. I'm not a writer.
My daughter and her friends like pizza.
Hello? Teenagers, Pokemon, cha-ching.
Teenagers. Genius.
Yes.
Very good. And now, stay tuned for the premiere of And a Pizza Place.
Here's the ratings for Pizza Place.
Wow, what a drop-off.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. Geez, the first 6 weeks we were blowing the King of Queens out of the water. What's the problem?
I'll tell you what the problem is. The show's been terrible lately. There's no calzones. The soda machine is broken. Some guy burned the roof of his mouth.
I blame the writers.
Well, that's not our only trouble. Have you read any of the mail we've been getting? What is this show? I don't get it. Why are you people doing this?
Okay, wait a second. Here's an idea. I had a very interesting lunch with a very appealing slice. Ricotta cheese.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had not seen that before.
Are we talking guest shot here?
I'll call the producer.
Hello, And a Pizza Place.
Listen, Giuseppe, we've been going over the ratings, and...
Yeah, well, don't worry too much. We're gonna have a strong week next week. We're gonna have the ices.
All right. Well, we had an idea we wanted to run by you. There's a slice of pizza we're very excited about. We want you to give it a guest shot.
Okay, what kind of slice?
It's got ricotta cheese on it.
Okay, let me talk to the writers. Hey, guys, it's NBC. They want a ricotta cheese slice.
Yeah, we could do it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they're making you a slice, so you pick it up.
No. We want it on the show.
Okay, it'll be ready about 15 minutes.
How'd it go?
It'll be ready in 15 minutes.
Good. Let's get to work on
Mr. Black.
monologue.
All right.
Black.
Genius.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Dick.
Oh my God! I'm so glad to be here. Wow. God, I just wish I wasn't so hopped up on blow. I mean pills. Oh my God, why did I just correct myself? Anyway, the nominees for Best Supporting Actor are David Hyde Pierce, Peter Boyle, A Slice of Ricotta Cheese Pizza, and Don Mahoney. And the winner is... God, I can't wait to go out tonight to have sex with a guy. Oh my God, why am I talking? Where did that come from? And the winner is... Mr. David Hyde Pierce!
Even though it didn't win the Emmy, the Slice of Ricotta Cheese Pizza went on to win the People's Choice and the Viewers for Quality Television Award and was the odds-on favorite at the Golden Globes until it was accidentally consumed at a pre-show party by ER's Eric Lassong.
Bam. And the bitch.
Guys, you have no idea how long I've been waiting to play that clip of AJ Benza just randomly walking in, eating a slice of pizza, saying fame hated a bitch, and just throwing it to the ground and walking off. You're all speechless.
For a moment, I thought that was Rob McElhenney, to be honest.
No, he would have been doing some PSA drug commercials back in 1999.